We will now start the press conference for Minister Kamikawa. Minister, please. I have three points to share with you at the outset. From 17th to the 19th of April, I will be visiting Italy to attend the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting. This will be the first time that I will be attending the face-to-face meeting at the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting since the meeting at Ikura in November last year, during which time the international situation has changed very rapidly. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the situation in the Middle East have deepened the divisions and conflicts in the international community. The most recent developments include the extremely serious humanitarian situation in Gaza and Iran's use of drones and missiles to attack Israel, which has heightened the level of tension. The G7 is now called upon more than ever to play a united role in addressing important issues in the international community, including the Indo-Pacific region. This meeting will also continue to focus on Japan's priorities from last year, including cooperation with partners outside the G7. As the G7 presidency last year, and the only G7 member in Asia, Japan will make a strong contribution to the discussions by introducing Japan's diplomatic and other initiatives. During Prime Minister Kishida's visit to the United States last week, I accompanied and felt that Japan and the United States, as global partners, were able to strongly demonstrate our determination to maintain and strengthen together a free and open international order based on the rule of law. At the following G7 Foreign Ministers meeting, I will be holding frank and in-depth discussions on the various issues I have just mentioned, from a truly global perspective, and to further strengthen the solidarity of the G7 nations and to deepen cooperation.
Next, the second point. At today's cabinet meeting, I distributed the Diplomatic Blue Book for 2024. The Diplomatic Blue Book is a record of our diplomatic activities published annually since 1957. Each volume of the Blue Book contains a record of the path that Japan has taken in the international community. It is a record of the efforts of our predecessors, which serves as a basis for the confidence in Japanese diplomacy today. Since assuming office, I have continued to be in the front lines of diplomacy to respond to the request of trust by people. The 67th edition of the Diplomatic Blue Book cut through and document from various angles the images of Japanese diplomacy as it defends Japan's national interests and leads the international community toward cooperation rather than division and confrontation, while shedding light on the rule of law and human dignity as the world faces a turning point in history, taking into account the situation in Ukraine and the Middle East. It also covers the outcomes of the internationally highly acclaimed G7 Hiroshima Summit and the efforts of the WPS. This publication is available on the MOFA's website from today. I hope that as many people as possible will read this publication to further deepen your understanding of Japanese diplomacy.
Next, moving on to the third topic. The international community today is currently facing a variety of complex crises, and efforts to ensure the sustainability of the international community as a whole, including the SDGs, are facing great challenges. In this context, I believe that Japan is strongly called upon to lead the international community by once again creatively considering approaches that can achieve growth and sustainability at the same time, while drawing on the wide range of knowledge from various fields. Based on this awareness, I have decided to set up an expert group on sustainability in the international community by the end of April, with the participation of experts from various fields, including industry, academia, the arts, and philosophy. Through this expert group, free and open discussions will take place. We hope to consider how Japan can lead the international community in ensuring its own sustainable growth and sustainability of the international community, with a view not only to the current SDGs but also to 2030, the SDGs final year and beyond. We would like to continue to consider how Japan can lead the international community in this regard. That's all for me.
If you have a question, please raise your hand. If you're designated, please approach the nearest microphone and ask your question after identifying your name and affiliation. NHK Igarashi-san. NHK Igarashi. So my question is about the large attack by Israel to Iran. Online G7 summit meeting was held. Prime Minister Kishida said that he would make diplomatic effort to calm down the situation. Japan traditionally is a friendly country of Iran, and there was the foreign ministerial telephone meeting. What is the content of that? And what is the role Japan plays in Middle East situation, as well as evacuation of Japanese nationals are there? Japan has been strongly urging Iran to calm down the situation. With the foreign minister Aburadohian of Iran, I had a telephone meeting, and I said that the current attack deteriorates the Middle East situation further, and Japan is seriously concerned, and Japan strongly condemns this possible escalation. Looking at the current situation, the current situation would not be the interest for not only Iran and Iranian people, but also for the international community, including Japan. And we need to prevent the further escalation and ask for the self-restraint. And I also pointed out the importance of free and safe navigation in order to secure the safe navigation of the region. I ask for the cooperation for the protection of Japanese people there. Continuously, I will continue the high-level approach to Iran, and I will make all the possible diplomatic efforts that is required. And as to the question about the possible evacuation of Japanese, as for the protection of Japanese national there, given this incident, we have confirmed the safety of Japanese national there, as well as gave notice to them. But so far, we have not received information that suggests that the Japanese nationals' life and the body have been harmed. As for Japan, we would like to do our utmost to protect the Japanese national there and to prevent the further deterioration of the situation. We would like to make all the necessary diplomatic efforts continuously.
Next question, please. Asahi Shimbun, Matsuyama-san, please. This is Matsuyama of Asahi Shimbun. I have a similar question. On the 14th, in the G7 leaders meeting, I understand that sanctions for Iran was also considered. What as the coordination that is being taking place, is Japan going to implement the sanction in line with G7 countries? And the Iran is claiming that this is a retribution to the attack of the diplomatic mission in Syria by Israel. Japan is saying that it's difficult to confirm, but in the case of Israel attack last year, it was evaluated, but it is not criticizing what is being conducted by Israel and Iran. What response to the criticism of a double standard? So for the 1st of April attack on Syria's Iran's diplomatic facility, Israel has not recognized this to be the case, and therefore, on the part of Japan, it's difficult to confirm the facts. That is the reason why we cannot decisively make an evaluation. Based on that, generally speaking, according to international law, attack on a diplomatic mission facility cannot be tolerated. Therefore, Japan will continue to evaluate this with concern and interest. And for G7 and Japan's response, I cannot make a decisive comment today, but the attack by Iran will further deteriorate the situation in the Middle East. Therefore, on the part of Japan, we strongly condemn such escalation that has taken place. For the statement made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs this on 14th, I've also emphasized this point.
And little Mel Johnson, please. Mel from Anadolu. There was a report that Israel may attempt to conduct military operation to Rafah in Gaza. According to the U.S., U.S. is opposed to the ground attack by Israel to Rafah. This possible attack could be the strong attack. What is the stance of Japanese government in order to prevent the Israeli attack to Rafah? Have you taken any initiatives? As for Japan, we are greatly concerned about the Israel possible military actions to Rafah. In this region, there are a lot of Palestine refugees there. And under this situation, if military operation continues, then this could cause atrocity that could generate even more victims, which will make it very challenging to engage in humanitarian assistance activity. And Japan cannot condone such kind of a situation. Given such stance of Japan, including the telephone dialogue, which is being coordinating, taking various opportunity, I have been approaching Israel about this. There has been a coordination among stakeholder countries about the release of hostages as well as ceasefire now. And through collaborating with stakeholders, Japan would like to conduct bilateral approach as well as a member of the G7 as well as UNSC. And through diplomatic effort, we are trying to improve the environment, and Japan would like to continue tenacious diplomatic efforts.
Next question, please. Yomiuri Shimbun, Kamikawa-san. Prior to that, I would like to make additional comment regarding the question by Matsuyama-san. I had made a mistake, so let me correct. Regarding the attack by Iran, I mentioned a different country. It's attack by Iran. I want to make this correction. So this is Kamikawa of Yomiuri Shimbun. I understand that you have had a discussion with the foreign minister on the telephone. And when the Japan's stance was communicated, what was the response of the Iranian side? Please elaborate. Prime Minister Kishida, in April, he has made a visit to the United States, and a significant result has been achieved during the visit from the 8th to 14th. And against this backdrop, the Middle East situation has occurred. This is something that we take very seriously. Abdul Rayyan, Foreign Minister, is with whom I had a telephone discussion. Given the current Middle East situation, the Gaza situation is very concerning, where we agree. Furthermore, we hope that this is not going to have a spillover to the Middle Eastern region. This is a very difficult outlook that we have identified and been taking measures accordingly. Therefore, this is the point I emphasized during the talk. Regarding Iran's stance, according to diplomatic stance, it is for them to ask the question. Therefore, I will not make further comments.
Pan-Orient News, Azahari-san, please.
Khaldun Asari, Pan-Orient News. Algeria, on behalf of the Arab Group and the Organization of Islamic Countries Nations, Islamic Conference Nations in the United States, submitted a bill to recognize Palestine as a full member of the United Nations. What is Japan's position on recognizing Palestine as an independent nation in this session? I think it's going on these days within a week. There is a sense that by not recognizing Palestine as a state, Japan is supporting the Israeli official position recently announced of rejecting the two-states solution. Japan has recognized Kosovo very quickly in the past few years, although Palestine has been a country for thousands of years, but you have not recognized it. So don't you think that it's positive for the Middle East peace that to recognize Palestine? Is Japan going to wait until the United States recognize Palestine first and then you recognize it second? Thank you.
As to the U.S. position about the approval of Palestine as a state, Japan would like to refrain from commenting on this. Upon that, whether Japan would approve the Palestine as a state is something we would like to comprehensively consider, given the point that whether that will be conducive for the peaceful process advancement in the region.
Miyano-san of Chugoku Shimbun. This is Miyano of Chugoku Shimbun. I have a question regarding the Blue Book. In the diplomatic Blue Book, it mentions that there is a chapter on the deterrence of expansion, including nuclear of the United States. But it is also mentioning that nuclear disarmament is responsibility of Japan. So Japan is aiming for nuclear disarmament, but still is within the scope of the nuclear of the United States. It seems to be a contradiction. Please comment. Now, regarding the special edition regarding the deterrence, it is specifically mentioned the threat is occurring for Japan's security from nuclear arms. Therefore, in order to deal with these threats, we need to include the nuclear of the United States in the Japan-U.S. summit meeting that was held last week. The deterring the expansion was a topic that was mentioned. In order to protect the lives as well as the properties of Japanese nationals, we must face reality and secure security, inclusive of U.S. nuclear capabilities. And based on that, we will continue to aim for a world without nuclear arms. There is no contradiction.
IWJ 浜本さん。 Thank you. IWJ Hamamoto. My question is about the Prime Minister's visit to the U.S. On the 11th, at the U.S. Congress, he delivered a speech, and Japan is a global partner of the U.S. That's what he said. The command and control of the SDF is to be delegated to the U.S. forces. That is what he said. That would mean the loss of the national sovereignty of Japan, and meaning that the SDF will be used as the sub-organization, the U.S. forces, and this leaves the people behind. And Japan could follow the same tragic situation like Ukraine, that is used as a proxy war partner against Russia by U.S. What is your take? All the activities conducted by SDF, including the joint handling with the U.S. forces, is done based on the independent judgment of Japan, as well as based on the Constitution of Japan, as well as laws and regulation of Japan. And SDF and U.S. forces take action based on the independent command and control. Therefore, SDF will not be under command and control of U.S. forces when it comes to SDF Integrated Operational Command. And according to the Japan-US guideline stipulated in 2015, as for SDF and US forces activity, this will be acted based on the chain of command of an independent line and based on the domestic laws and regulation, as well as the basic policy of the domestic security, as well as the constitution of each country. As for the coordination of Japan and US after the establishment of integrated command operation, from the perspective of how we can enhance the collaboration of Japan and the US, action will be taken. So each Japan and the US will take action based on the legal framework of respective country.
Katsurada-san of Kyoto Tsushin. Now, I have one confirmation to make with what you have said regarding Middle East situation with Israel's telephone call is being arranged. Is it going to be a phone call with the foreign minister of Israel to be held in the future? And are you going to ask for de-escalation in this telephone call? Now, regarding Israel, we do want to avoid the escalation of the conflict area, and inclusive of the communication at high level with Israel, we will utilize all available means to achieve this objective. On my part, with the Foreign Minister Katz, we are trying to coordinate a telephone call to speak directly. Regarding Iran, the communication is already taking place, so please refer to that. I'm sorry that it was not clear. But when you have the Israeli Prime Minister's telephone call, are you going to ask a de-escalation on the part of Israel regarding Iran? I am not in a position to give you details about the telephone discussion that is being planned. It is being coordinated currently, so I shall refrain from making comment.
So, Yomiuri Shimbun, Kamimura-san. Kamimura. My question is a Prime Minister's visit to the U.S. In this visit, the securities, economic security, and advanced technology in wide areas agreement was reached. And for the first time, there was Japan-U.S.-Philippines summit meeting was held. For the overall visit to the U.S., how do you assess the results and the significance? First of all, Prime Minister Kishida visited the United States as a state guest from the 8th through 14th of April and generated great results. Concretely, at the Japan-US Summit meeting, Prime Minister Kishida and President Biden confirmed the personal trust relationship and confirmed that Japan and U.S. are linked in deep and multi-layered friendly relations. And we were able to confirm that based on the solid friend and trustworthy relationship, Japan and U.S. are the global partners to maintain and enhance and free and open the international order based on rule of law. And as for the speech in the Congress, he appealed that the international order built by the U.S. Faces challenge, and freedom and democracy is facing the threat in the world, and that was pointed out. And U.S. leadership is indispensable, and Japan is with the U.S. And he received a lot of endorsement. And in North Carolina, we communicated that Japan has greatly contributed to the U.S. economy through investment and creating employment. And we also highlighted the importance of grassroots exchange between U.S. and Japan in the local community in the U.S. In Washington, D.C., I accompanied Prime Minister Kishida and attended Japan-U.S. summit meeting as well as a Japan-U.S.-Philippines summit meeting, as you pointed out, and I supported the Prime Minister, and I also exchanged views with State Secretary Blinken and Commerce Secretary Lemond, and I confirmed the results of the visit to the U.S. I also had Japan-Philippine Foreign Ministerial meeting and confirmed the enhancement of the Philippines, Japan, U.S. Philippines collaboration. Moving forward, given the results of the visit to the U.S., I would like to take effort for the further enhancement of U.S.-Japan relationship with the future in mind. This concludes today's press conference.